Set against the backdrop of a World War II prisoner of war camp, Hogan's Heroes offered a distinctive and daring take on history, infusing sharp comedy into the grim realities of wartime. Drawing inspiration from Billy Wilder's Stalag 17, the series became a beloved classic, winning 2 Emmy Awards and winning over audiences with its clever humor and unforgettable characters. Now, let us look back at the iconic cast of Hogan's Heroes and discover where life took them once the war and the cameras came to an end. Richard Dawson as Corporal Peter Newkirk. Corporal Peter Newkirk, brought to life by Richard Dawson, was celebrated for his intelligence, loyalty, and his willingness to speak up whenever something felt wrong. As the team's expert in clothing and disguises, Newkirk played a vital part in the clever schemes that allowed Hogan and his crew to continually outsmart their German captors. Yet Dawson, the man behind this unforgettable character, built a career that extended far beyond Hogan's Heroes. Dawson began his entertainment journey in England as a stand-up comedian known as Dickie Dawson. By 1962, he had transitioned into acting, making one of his earliest television appearances in a guest role on The Dick Van Dyke Show as Racy Tracy. Interestingly, Dawson was once considered for the lead role of Colonel Hogan, but he turned it down due to a lack of confidence in his American accent, unaware that his path to stardom was only just beginning. Following his time on Hogan's Heroes, Dawson became a regular on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, where his natural charm and quick wit won over new audiences. His greatest fame, however, came as a game show host. As the beloved host of Match Game, Dawson's playful, flirtatious persona earned him the nickname the Kissing Bandit, thanks to his trademark habit of kissing female contestants. His popularity on Match Game eventually led to him hosting Family Feud, where his warmth and signature style helped the show surpass even Match Game in success. He earned numerous awards for his hosting, cementing his place as one of television's most iconic personalities. Beyond his career, Dawson's personal life also drew public attention. With his first wife, actress Diana Dors, he had 2 sons before their divorce in 1967, after which Dawson gained custody of the boys. He later became a U.S. citizen in 1984. In 1991, he married Gretchen Johnson, whom he had first met when she was a contestant on Family Feud in 1981. The couple welcomed a daughter in 1990, and Dawson proudly announced her birth during his second tenure hosting Family Feud in 1994. In 1995, he even shared the stage with his young daughter in heartwarming moments that fans still remember fondly. Dawson was more than a television star. He was a man deeply committed to social causes. In the 1960s and 1970s, he took part in historic movements, including the Selma to Montgomery marches, and George McGovern's 1972 presidential campaign, demonstrating his dedication to making a positive difference in the world. After decades of success and activism, Dawson's life was sadly cut short. On June 2, 2012, he passed away at the age of 79 from complications related to esophageal cancer at the Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center in Los Angeles. He was laid to rest at Westwood Memorial Park. Though he is gone, Dawson's legacy endures. His humor, warmth, and trailblazing television presence continue to inspire and entertain audiences worldwide. Bob Crane as Colonel Hogan. Colonel Hogan, the clever and daring senior POW officer at Stalag 13, was celebrated for his quick thinking, audacity, and unmatched ability to outwit German forces during World War II. The man who embodied this iconic role, Bob Crane, was himself a figure of immense talent and complexity, both on and off the screen. Crane's path to stardom did not begin with acting, but with radio. Starting out as a DJ, he quickly became a household name, hosting his own morning radio show in Los Angeles. His sharp wit, spontaneous drumming, and high-profile guests, including Marilyn Monroe and Bob Hope, earned him the title King of the Los Angeles Airwaves, as he dominated morning ratings. This success opened the door to television. In 1963, Crane secured his first major role as Dr. Dave Kelsey on The Donna Reed Show, appearing in 63 episodes. That exposure set the stage for his most famous part, Colonel Hogan in Hogan's Heroes. The series became an instant hit, finishing in the top 10 in its debut season. Crane's charismatic performance earned him 2 Emmy nominations and cemented his reputation as a gifted comedic actor, making Hogan a beloved character across America. Following the end of Hogan's Heroes, Crane continued working in television, even headlining The Bob Crane Show in 1975. However, the series lasted only a single season. His final acting credit came in 1978 with a guest appearance on The Love Boat. Sadly, that same year marked the tragic and mysterious end of his life. By then, Crane had developed a close relationship with John Henry Carpenter, a Sony Electronics sales manager. Together, the pair frequently used Crane's celebrity status to meet women, with many encounters recorded on videotape. According to Crane's son, the actor had expressed a desire to end his friendship with Carpenter shortly before his death. On June 29, 1978, just a day after calling Carpenter to sever ties, Crane was found brutally bludgeoned in his Scottsdale, Arizona apartment. An electrical cord had been tied around his neck, and the suspected murder weapon, believed to be a camera tripod, was never recovered. The investigation dragged on for years. Carpenter was eventually tried but acquitted due to insufficient evidence, maintaining his innocence until his death in 1998. Decades later, Crane's son publicly speculated that his stepmother may have had some involvement, hinting that nobody got a dime out of the murder, except for one person. Bob Crane was only 49 years old when his life was cut short. He was initially laid to rest at Oakwood Memorial Park Cemetery in Chatsworth, California, with family, friends, and co-stars in attendance. In 2007, his remains were moved to Westwood Village Memorial Park in Los Angeles, where he now rests beside his second wife, Sigrid Valdis, known to fans as Hilda from Hogan's Heroes. Crane's unsolved murder remains one of Hollywood's most haunting mysteries, casting a dark shadow over the life of a man who brought so much laughter to audiences around the world. John Banner as Sergeant Schultz. Sergeant Schultz, the lovable and bumbling guard of Hogan's Heroes, became one of the show's most endearing figures. As Colonel Klink's official food taster at parties, making sure the meals weren't poisoned, Schultz embodied blissful ignorance amid chaos. Surrounded by spies, sabotage, and daring escape plans, he famously knew nothing, saw nothing, and heard nothing. This iconic line, delivered with perfect comedic timing, became a defining element of the series. John Banner, the man behind Schultz, earned admiration from co-star Bob Crane for his impeccable sense of humor and timing, which gave Schultz his irresistible charm. Banner's acting career began in 1940, but his distinct accent often saw him cast as a Nazi in war films and television shows. His first breakthrough came in 1954 with a semi-regular role on Rocky Jones, Space Ranger. Yet it was Sergeant Schultz that became his signature role, the one that defined his career. Some critics dismissed Schultz as a cuddly Nazi, but Banner firmly rejected this idea. He viewed Schultz as a symbol of the goodness that can be found in every generation. This interpretation carried deep meaning given Banner's own history. He had lost much of his family during the horrors of the Nazi regime in the 1940s. His heartfelt portrayal gave Schultz a surprising depth, making the character more than just comic relief. When Hogan's Heroes ended in 1971, Banner took on the role of Uncle Lotzie, a bumbling gangster, in the short-lived sitcom The Chicago Teddy Bears. His final television appearance came in 1972 with a guest role on The Partridge Family in an episode that aired on March 17th. Soon after, Banner retired from acting and moved to France with his second wife, a Parisian by birth, hoping for a quiet life away from Hollywood. Tragically, his retirement was brief. On January 28, 1973, his 63rd birthday, John Banner died of an abdominal hemorrhage while visiting friends in Vienna. Though his life ended too soon, his warm and humorous portrayal of Schultz has left a lasting legacy. For fans of Hogan's Heroes, Banner's Schultz remains a timeless reminder of innocence, kindness, and laughter in even the darkest of settings. Larry Hovis as Sergeant Andrew Carter. Larry Hovis is best remembered for bringing to life Sergeant Andrew Carter, the warm-hearted and somewhat gullible character from Hogan's Heroes. Carter's cheerful energy and genuine kindness made him an endearing presence in the group, even as his comrades, Corporals LeBeau and Newkirk, teasingly ignored his rank and simply called him Andrew. This light-hearted dynamic became a signature element of the show, with Carter's innocence serving as a striking contrast to the sharper, more worldly personalities around him. Hovis's path to television was as fascinating as the roles he played. In 1964, he was discovered by Andy Griffith's manager and soon landed his first TV role as Private Larry on Gomer Pyle, USMC, officially launching his screen career. Not long after, he became a regular on the groundbreaking sketch comedy Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, appearing in 36 episodes. His quick wit and natural comedic charm made him a favorite among audiences, and even after his time on Hogan's Heroes, Hovis remained active in entertainment. When Hogan's Heroes ended, Hovis made guest appearances on shows such as Alice. But as the years went on, he began focusing more on production work, eventually becoming a key figure behind the camera. He co-produced the hidden camera series Totally Hidden Video, though his time with the show ended abruptly when an investigation revealed that many of its pilot segments had been staged with paid actors, leading to his dismissal. Even before stepping into production, Hovis was a familiar face on popular game shows of the era, including Match Game, where his clever humor shone through, and Liars Club, where he served as a regular panelist. His creativity extended beyond performance. He played a role in co-creating Laugh-In, a show that would go on to define comedy in the late 1960s and 1970s. Hovis's career was rich and varied, but his life was sadly cut short. On September 9, 2003, he passed away from esophageal cancer in Austin, Texas, at the age of 67. His death marked the loss of a beloved entertainer whose warmth, humor, and creativity had touched countless fans. Yet his legacy as an actor, producer, and writer endures, living on through the shows he helped create and the joy he brought to audiences for decades. Werner Klemperer as Colonel Klink. Werner Klemperer became a television legend through his unforgettable portrayal of the pompous yet cowardly Colonel Klink in Hogan's Heroes. With his vanity and constant blunders, Klink was the perfect comic foil to the clever Colonel Hogan and his band of POWs. Far from the terrifying Nazi officer audiences might have expected, Klink's ineptitude made him one of the show's most beloved characters. Klemperer's brilliant performance earned him 2 Emmy Awards for Best Supporting Actor, securing his place in television history. Born in 1920, Klemperer was the son of world-renowned orchestral conductor Otto Klemperer. While his father shaped the world of classical music, Werner chose a different artistic path. After serving in the U.S. Army during World War II, he launched his acting career in 1952, appearing on several popular variety programs, including the Philco television Playhouse. He made his film debut in 1956 with a memorable role as a psychiatrist in Alfred Hitchcock's The Wrong Man. It was, however, the role of Colonel Klink that became his defining achievement. Interestingly, Klemperer, along with several of the actors portraying German officers on the show, was of Jewish descent. He only agreed to take the part after being assured that Klink would always fail in his devious plans. This condition gave his performance an additional layer of meaning, transforming Klink into both a source of laughter and a subtle critique of the regime he represented. After the death of his father in 1973, Klemperer honored his legacy by embracing musical theater, even earning a Tony Award nomination for his role in the 1987 Broadway revival of Cabaret. His versatility as an actor shone through as he successfully bridged comedy, drama, and music. Klemperer's final acting appearance came in 1993, when he delighted audiences once more by reprising Klink in an episode of The Simpsons, introducing his iconic character to a new generation. Away from the spotlight, Klemperer led a rich personal life. While stationed at Pearl Harbor during the war, he met Catherine Handloss, to whom he became engaged. Due to their public exposure, the couple devised a secret code to communicate through the media during their time apart. Over the course of his life, Klemperer married 3 times and became a father to 2 children, balancing family life with his thriving career. On December 6, 2000, Werner Klemperer died at his Manhattan home after a battle with cancer. He was 80 years old. His ashes were scattered at sea, a serene farewell to a man whose humor, talent, and resilience left an enduring mark on entertainment history. Robert Clary as Corporal Louis LeBeau. Corporal Louis LeBeau, the quick-witted, patriotic, and deeply loyal Frenchman of Hogan's Heroes, won over audiences with his humor, intelligence, and fiery temperament, especially when anyone dared to insult his homeland or his impeccable culinary skills. The man behind LeBeau, Robert Clary, was far more than just an actor on a beloved sitcom. He was a multi-talented performer and a survivor whose life story was as remarkable as it was harrowing. Clary's career in entertainment began in 1949, but it was his role as LeBeau that secured his place in television history. After Hogan's Heroes concluded, he continued working steadily, most notably with a 164-episode run on the long-running soap opera Days of Our Lives. In the 1990s, he appeared in a 30-episode arc on The Bold and the Beautiful, which became his final significant television role, marking the end of a career that spanned decades. Yet Robert Clary's life was shaped long before Hollywood ever called. Born in 1926 in Paris, France, he was the youngest of 14 children in a family of Polish-Jewish immigrants, Byla and Moish Wiederman. Tragedy struck when, at the age of 16, he was deported to Nazi concentration camps during the Holocaust. 7 of his siblings would perish, along with his parents. At just 12, Clary had already been performing on French radio, a gift that, years later, would help save his life. In 1942, Clary was sent to the Otmuth concentration camp in Upper Silesia, where he was tattooed with the number A5714, a permanent reminder of humanity's darkest depths. He was eventually transferred to Buchenwald. There, amid starvation, forced labor, and death, Clary's voice became his lifeline. Every other Sunday, he sang for the SS Guards while an accordionist played. Looking back, Clary reflected, "Singing, entertaining, and being in kind of good health at my age, that's why I survived. I was very immature and young and not really fully realizing what situation I was involved with. I don't know if I would have survived if I really knew that." Robert Clary's portrayal of LeBeau brought joy to millions, but behind the laughter was a man who had endured unthinkable loss and found strength through art, resilience, and hope. Robert Clary's extraordinary resilience carried him through the unimaginable horrors of Buchenwald, where he remained until liberation on April 11, 1945. Yet his survival came at a heartbreaking cost. 12 members of his immediate family, including his parents, were deported to Auschwitz and perished there. Clary emerged as the sole survivor of his family from the concentration camps. After the war, he returned to Paris, where he was reunited with 6 surviving siblings and half-siblings, along with several nieces and nephews who had also endured. Seeking a fresh start, Clary later moved to the United States, where he built a new life and career. In 1965, he married Natalie Cantor, daughter of famed entertainer Eddie Cantor. Although the couple never had children, they shared many years together until Natalie's death in 1997. Clary's story was not merely one of endurance, it was also a testament to hope, reinvention, and triumph. He found success as an actor, becoming beloved worldwide for his work on Hogan's Heroes. In 2001, he released his memoir, From the Holocaust to Hogan's Heroes, a deeply moving account of his years in the camps and his eventual rise to Hollywood fame. The book offered a rare and powerful glimpse into the journey of a man who transformed profound suffering into a life of meaning and achievement. Robert Clary passed away on November 16, 2022, at the age of 96. With his death, the world lost not only a cherished entertainer, but also a living witness to history, someone whose life embodied both the depths of human cruelty and the indomitable strength of the human spirit. Cynthia Lynn as Helga. Cynthia Lynn, born Zinta Valda Zimelis, was an American actress best remembered for playing Fräulein Helga, Colonel Klink's secretary, in the beloved 1960s sitcom Hogan's Heroes. In the show's first season, Lynn's portrayal of Helga, graceful and engaging, quickly won over audiences. Although Sigrid Valdis later assumed the secretary role as Hilda for the remaining seasons, Lynn made two notable returns to the series, appearing in the special episodes Will the Blue Baron Strike Again, 1968, and Easy Come, Easy Go, 1971. Lynn's path to Hollywood was shaped by her early life as a refugee. During World War II, she and her mother, Elisa, fled Latvia to escape Soviet reoccupation. At just 8 years old, Lynn began a journey that ultimately brought her to the United States in 1950. After settling in America, she pursued her dream of acting, eventually landing roles in numerous television series. In addition to Hogan's Heroes, Lynn appeared in popular shows such as Gidget Grows Up, Mission Impossible, The Odd Couple, Love, American Style, and The $6 Million Man. Her versatility as an actress allowed her to inhabit a wide range of characters across genres. Her final screen role came in 1975 with an appearance on Harry O. Outside of acting, Lynn shared her life story in her 2000 autobiography, Escape to Freedom, offering a candid look at her journey from wartime Europe to Hollywood. Her personal life, too, was notable. She had a romantic relationship with Hogan's Heroes co-star Bob Crane, and later a brief affair with actor Marlon Brando, which resulted in the birth of her daughter, Lisa, in 1964. Lynn also had a son, Tony, and devoted much of her life to being a loving mother. Cynthia Lynn passed away on March 10, 2014, at the age of 76, due to complications from multiple organ failure and hepatitis. Though she stepped away from the spotlight in her later years, her contributions to television and her extraordinary life continue to be fondly remembered by fans. Sigrid Valdis as Hilda. Patricia Annette Olson, better known by her stage name Sigrid Valdis, was an American actress most celebrated for portraying Hilda, the charming and elegant secretary to Colonel Klink on the beloved television series Hogan's Heroes. Valdis infused the role with grace and appeal, quickly becoming a fan favorite. She took over from Cynthia Lynn, who had played Helga in the show's first season, and made Hilda distinctly her own, delivering memorable scenes alongside the hapless Colonel Klink. Valdis began her acting career in the late 1950s, taking small parts in films and making guest appearances on television shows such as The Wild Wild West and Kraft Television Theater. These early opportunities allowed her to develop her craft, leading to her eventual debut on Hogan's Heroes. Interestingly, before landing the role of Hilda, Valdis had appeared on the series once before as a different character. Once cast as Hilda, she brought a new energy to the ensemble, helping solidify the show's enduring popularity. Her personal life was as eventful as her career. Valdis was married twice. Her first marriage was to fashion businessman George Gilbert Attea, with whom she had a daughter, Melissa. Tragically, Attea passed away in 1967. A few years later, Valdis found love again with her Hogan's Heroes co-star, Bob Crane. The couple married on October 16, 1970, during the show's run, with fellow actor Richard Dawson serving as Crane's best man. In 1971, they welcomed their son, Robert Scott Crane. Shortly thereafter, Valdis retired from acting to focus on her family. But happiness proved fleeting. Crane was brutally murdered in 1978, a crime that remains unsolved, prompting Valdis to leave Los Angeles and begin a new chapter of her life. During the 1980s, she settled in Seattle for several years. In 1998, she joined the cast of her son's syndicated sketch comedy radio show, Shaken, Not Stirred, showing that her love for entertaining never truly faded. Later, she returned to her childhood home in Westwood, where she lived quietly. Though she no longer used her stage name, Valdis remained devoted to preserving Bob Crane's memory by managing a tribute website dedicated to her late husband and interacting with Hogan's Heroes fans. In her final years, Valdis maintained a quiet yet meaningful connection to her past work. She passed away on October 14, 2007, in Anaheim, California, after battling lung cancer at the age of 72. Her legacy endures not only through her iconic portrayal of Hilda, but also through the love she gave to her family and the fans who continue to remember her warmly. Ivan Dixon as Staff Sergeant Kinch. Staff Sergeant Kinchlow, the team's unofficial second-in-command on Hogan's Heroes, was an indispensable member of the group and its gifted communications specialist. His exit after the show's 5th season came when actor Ivan Dixon began to feel both creatively limited and overshadowed. Dixon, who gave the role remarkable depth and quiet strength, went on to build a long and varied career that encompassed both stage and screen. Before stepping into his iconic part on Hogan's Heroes, Dixon had already made a name for himself as a stage actor. While performing on Broadway, he met Sidney Poitier, forging a lifelong friendship. The two would later reprise their stage roles on film, most notably in the 1961 adaptation of A Raisin in the Sun. That collaboration became a pivotal moment in both men's careers, and their bond endured for the rest of their lives. Following his time on Hogan's Heroes, Dixon moved behind the camera, directing acclaimed television shows such as The Waltons and Magnum P.I. Although his directing talents earned him significant respect, it was his passionate civil rights activism that most strongly defined his legacy. Dedicated to creating opportunities for African American actors, Dixon served as president of Negro Actors for Action, an organization committed to advocating for the rights and representation of black performers. His activism reflected his deep belief in justice and equality. In 1978, Dixon was appointed chairman of the Expansion Arts Advisory Panel of the National Endowment for the Arts, continuing his mission to support artistic and cultural development. His career later branched into radio when he became the owner-operator of Maui's Coney FM radio station. This venture marked a new chapter in his life, though health issues eventually led him to leave Hawaii in 2001 and sell the station in 2002, retreating from public life. Ivan Dixon died on March 16, 2008, in Charlotte, North Carolina, at the age of 76, from complications of kidney failure. His death signaled the end of an era for both his family and the entertainment industry. Hogan's Heroes was unlike any other series of its time, a World War II setting blended with absurd humor and unforgettable characters like the inept Colonel Klink and the clever Colonel Hogan. It became a truly unique piece of television history. Who was your favorite character on Hogan's Heroes? Did you follow the series through all 6 seasons? And whose career did you continue to watch after the show ended? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching.